Hello students, the time now is for mathematics. And the topic for today is fractions. We shall consider this topic following the given outlines. 3 in number. 1, definition. 2, types. And 3, ability to identify. Now, the definition will explain to us what is involved in fraction or what it means. Then the types will be the various types that we can see them, the form in which they appear. And then the ability is to identify is for the students to see whether in the textbook or anywhere at all. When they see fraction, they say, this is this fraction and this is this type of fraction. We shall go through our work based on these 3 outlines. Now, definition. We shall simply define fraction as part of a whole. Part of a whole. Now, part of a whole. The whole will show the natural occurrence of things. Oranges, circular in form. Bar soap, rectangular in form. And various other forms and shapes that certain things that appear in nature will take. All we need to do is to divide those things exactly into equal parts. Let's take, for example, let's say we are taking a rectangle and we are dividing this rectangle exactly into 2 equal parts. The original rectangle is one whole number, which we might write 1/1. That is what we have, a whole number. But now when we come and divide it into 2 equal parts, then there is a desire to take not all of them, but part of them. So in order to take that particular part, we have a selection. A selection all over the whole. But remember that this whole has been divided into a number of equal parts. Divided into a number of equal parts. Divided. D-I-V-I-D-E-D. Divided into a number of equal parts. But we are not selecting all. We are selecting a small number. A part of. So, number selected. Now we shall take the first letters of what we wrote in our fraction now. The first letter is N here. The first letter at the bottom is D. So our fraction now becomes n all over d. The number on top is n. The number below is d. But we call this number on top, it has a special name. Numerator. Numerator. And the one below we call denominator. Therefore, we can simply say that fraction is numerator over denominator. Remember, denominator, number of equal parts into which the original or whole number was divided. Numerator is number chosen or number selected. Now we have seen the definition of fraction. Let's go to the types. Types. There are very many types of fractions. So types, write it out again. Very many types. But we shall concentrate on the three great-grandfathers of fractions. Three great-grandfathers of fractions. First one, vulgar. Second one, decimal. Third one, percentage. The whole fractions in types can be broadly expressed as vulgar fraction, decimal fraction, percentage fraction. Now, because it's a very wide topic, we cannot go through all of them at a go. We'll take them bit by bit. Let's now take the vulgar fraction. The vulgar fractions are those fractions that involve ordinary numbers. The numbers may be arranged in various forms. Vulgar fraction are divided themselves into three. Proper, improper, and mixed. When is a fraction said to be proper? We have seen that we divide a whole number into a given number of equal parts. They must be equally divided. Not some of them bigger, then some of them smaller. They must be equally divided before we can make a selection out of that. Then it becomes reliable. Now, when the number on top, numerator, is smaller than the number below, denominator, that is a proper fraction. Because there is no way somebody can say, hey man, I got a son before my dad had a son. That is not proper, it's improper. Or the other way around. A daughter will say, I had a daughter before my mother had a daughter. That is improper. There is no way of doing it. Or you find what some parents do. They will carry the children to farm, and while going to the farm, the child will be carrying a very heavy load and will be staggering the very small feet, carrying a very heavy load. So the leg is smaller than what it is carrying. That is improper. Now, let's take some examples of proper fraction. Proper fraction. Proper fraction is when the numerator is smaller than the denominator. That is calculating from top down. Numerator smaller than denominator. If we calculate upwards, down, up, the denominator is bigger than numerator. That is a proper fraction. Example, 2 over 3. 3 over 4. 17 over 20. Provided that the number below, denominator, is greater than the number on top, numerator, the fraction is proper. Let's consider the case of improper fraction. For the improper fraction, as demonstrated some few minutes ago, here the numerator is bigger than the denominator. Let's take an example. 8 over 5. 9 over 7. 35 over 29. The number on top in each of these is greater than the number below, or the number below is smaller than the number on top. If denominator is smaller than numerator, or the numerator is larger than the denominator, then the fraction is improper. Now let's look at the case of mixed fraction. Remember, initially, before we started, we had to start from whole number. So in the case of mixed fraction, there is a whole number portion and there is a fractional part of it. So that you bring the whole and add to the fractional part of it to get it mixed. Mixed fraction. Mixed. That is where we are now. Mixed fraction. Let's have the examples like now, let's have this. Here we have 2 whole number, 3 over 4, or 2 3/4. 17 whole number, 5 over 6, or 17/5/6. 35 whole number, 7 over 9, or 35/7/9. Now, these are mixed fractions because they have 1 whole number portion, 2 a fractional portion. We cannot say that a given fraction is mixed fraction unless it contains, that is a condition for it to be mixed, it contains whole number and a proper fraction. Whole number and a proper fraction. If by mistake you have a whole number and improper fraction, it can no longer be called mixed fraction. Because something has to be done to that improper fraction inside it to reduce it again, to make it proper. Therefore, it does not qualify for mixed fraction. Now let's look at what we've said. Fraction, numerator, denominator. And once the numerator is smaller than the denominator, proper. Once the numerator is bigger than the denominator, improper. Once we have some whole numbers attached to proper fraction, mixed fraction. That is what we have now discussed. Now let's look at some examples of certain numbers. We are going to write just 4 of them. 4 of them. 4. We have A, B, C, and D. In A, we have 19 over 23. In B, we have 23 over 19. In C, we have 5 whole number, 17 over 13. And in D, we have 6 whole number, 13 over 17. We have 4 sets of fractions here given. We are to identify the type of fractions given. A, 19 over 23. We look at the numerator, the number on top. Look at the denominator, the number below, and see how they are arranged, size-wise. In A, 19 numerator is smaller than 23 denominator. Therefore, the fraction is proper. In B, we have 23 divided by 19. Numerator 23, denominator 19. Here, numerator is greater than denominator, therefore fraction improper. The next one, C. Numerator, whole number 5, numerator 17, denominator 13. We have a whole number portion, quite all right, just as in D. Whole number portion. But the fractions attached to them do not depict exactly what we have in mind. In C, 17 over 13 is improper. So you can't add the whole number with an improper fraction to call it mixed fraction. No way. Therefore, Mr. C is not an improper fraction. But Mr. D, where you have whole number portion 6 and the fractional aspect of it, 13 over 17. 13 is smaller than 17. Therefore, it's a proper fraction attached to a whole number portion. Therefore, Mr. D is a correct example of a mixed fraction. Remember that we have not talked about some of these, comparing some of these sizes. We can compare some of the sizes because the fractions, as you see here, have 2 over 3, 3 over 4, 17 over 20. They will not be of the same size. And that is why in some families, certain times, you get a piece of yam and the parents will share it. Some will be annoyed that the parents has given more to this person than this. Yes. You are not of the same age. And that is why fractions are different in sizes. That is why you see the denominators different and numerators different. In subsequent lessons, we shall look at size of fractions and compare them. And that will lead us onto what we call equivalent fractions. For now, let's go through before I give you the assignment for the day. Fraction, part of a whole. That means there will be a whole number. We select some portion out of equal number of divisions that we have. Number 2, types. And we've told you there are very big great-grandfathers. Vulgar, decimal, percentage. We shall also in future take them one by one. We are for today on vulgar fractions. Then the vulgar fractions themselves are divided into 3 portions or sections. Proper, improper, mixed. Proper, where numerator is smaller than denominator. Improper, where numerator is bigger than denominator. Mixed, where we have a whole number portion and a proper fraction part. That is what we have done. So, we shall have the following to be done. And you write down the question. I'm not writing it on the board. You write down the question. Identify the following types of fractions. Write them down. Give you some time to do it. Identify the following fractions. We are not writing it on the board. We will only write the questions. Identify the following fractions. And what are they? We also have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's read them out. Number 1, 17 over 19. Is it a fraction? If it is, what type? Number 2, 19 over 17. Is it a fraction? If it is, what type? Number 3, 2 whole number, 17 over 18. Is it a fraction? If it is, what type? Number 4, 3 whole number, 18 over 17. Is it a fraction? If it is, what type? We shall stop here. See you again. Make sure that whatever you have picked, the correct solutions, you send them to our website. Thank you.